One of the biggest headlines of the WWE is John Cena, who's now retired. Where do you think the company is now headed now that its biggest star arguably is gone?
Because John Cena's last event, he wanted the young stars to shine. It was all about them. And like the way I seen it, like, was I upset that John Cena retired? Yeah, obviously, like, he was like a childhood hero of mine. But the way I seen it was like, look, he's paving the way for us guys, he's paving the way for me. So it's kind of like my time where I can just step up and shine. Would be on your dream match in terms of boxing, like fantasy or whatever.
Genuinely, I think the number one fight I want to see in boxing is Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury. I mean, as a fan of British boxing, it would be amazing to see such a huge event happen. It's been such a highly anticipated fight for so many years. I mean, there's been talks about it happening for over a decade.
Who do you think is going to be Boxer of the Year this year in 2026?
Boxer of the Year? Well, it's quite early to tell, and obviously there's a lot that's going to be happening this year. Naturally, one of the most favoured matchups of the year is the Japanese matchup. We had the Knights of the Samurai card just last month, and it set up a huge pound-for-pound showdown between two of the best boxers, not just in Japan but in the world. One of which his name is Naoya Inoue, and the other one is Junto Nakatani, and they're both in the top 10 rankings in the world. Whoever wins that, in my opinion, is the King of Kings, wins the pound-for-pound spot number one.
Yo ho chaps, welcome to Sports Collide. My name is Sullivan.
And my name is Sahil.
And Sports Collide is a podcast with two individuals, myself and Sahil, where we're discussing our love for combat sports, where Sahil discusses boxing and yours truly discusses professional wrestling.
But right before anything, we want to give a massive shout out to Gen XO for giving us the platform and the studio to be able to voice our opinions on our combat sports and to be able to talk in this space. So I want Sullivan to start with the first question.
So Sahil, since you have a massive passion for boxing, who is your favourite boxer and why?
Well, if you ask me who my favourite boxer is of all time, it would have to be the legendary Vasili Lomachenko. Just a phenomenal talent to watch. I mean, he was a two-time Olympic gold medalist in both Beijing Olympics in 2008 and London in 2012. He was a four-time world champion in 3 divisions. Just a class fighter to watch. And naturally, whenever I fight in the gym or do stuff in the gym, I always have Lomachenko in mind. He had so many great fights against the likes of Linares and Lopez and Rigondeaux and such. He's just a class fighter, one who I look up to, and naturally he's just a great man as outside of the ring as well, a great talent, a great voice, spoken up for, say, the war in Ukraine and such. He's fought for them. So genuinely, one of my favourite boxers in and out of the ring, it's Vasili Lomachenko. Naturally, Sullivan, you're such a big wrestling fan. Yeah. I want to know, what got you into wrestling?
So that's probably a really hard question, but like, it's ever since I remember, I've always loved professional wrestling. It's been such a passion of mine, like so much so that I'm actually training to become a professional wrestler.
Oh wow.
And like, I love just taking bumps, I love running the ropes, I just love each and every single aspect of training to become a pro wrestler. And like, I just love the sport itself because everything about it, like the match quality, just the entrances, like it's just so interactive with the crowd, and the fact that like you can kind of resonate with it, but at the same time you can build your own story as well. So that's what I love about wrestling, and it's just basically as far as I can remember. And like, I was gonna ask you as well, like in terms like how we're talking about matches, what's your favorite boxing match of all time?
Well, that's a very difficult question, and I naturally have a lot of different answers, but one that really comes to mind for me is the first fight of the trilogy between Manny Pacquiao and Erik Morales. It was in 2005, I believe, at super featherweight. Erik Morales was just a huge talent at the time. I mean, there was an array of Mexican talent. You had Marquez and Barrera, but none quite like Morales. He was a street fighter from Guadalajara. And Manny Pacquiao, of course, we know the talent that he was, a southpaw phenomenon. It was quite before he entered the mainstream, but he definitely gave Morales a phenomenal fight. But Morales just showed his class, showed his ability, showed his grit. He was able to rope Manny Pacquiao into a fight that he didn't want, was able to employ his own tactics, and he just fought a very macho fight. Even in the final round when he switched to southpaw, he gave the round away, but it was enough to get him the decision. And it's a class fight. It's one that I watch every single time. It's 36 minutes long because it went all 12 rounds, but it feels like 5 minutes long. Naturally, it's just a great fight. We were talking about matches and just overall wrestling. You speak about how you just like wrestling in general. Of course, there's the WWE, and one of the biggest headlines of the WWE is John Cena, who's now retired. Where do you think is the future? Where do you think the company is now headed now that its biggest star arguably is gone?
I'd say the younger stars now. I don't want to be biased, but I'd like to put my own name in the hat as well, because John Cena's last event, he wanted the young stars to shine. It was all about them. And even the matches just leading up to like just John Cena's like final match in that pay-per-view or in that PLE now it's called, it was youngsters versus the veterans. And like the way I seen it, like was I upset that John Cena retired? Yeah, obviously like he was like a childhood hero of mine. But the way I seen it was like, look, he's paving the way for us guys, he's paving the way for me. So it's kind of like my time where I can just step up and shine.
Okay.
So yeah, like since we're talking about like famous like just athletes, I would like to talk about what's your thoughts on like Fury and Joshua? Who do you think should win between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua because they're two larger than life boxers?
Well, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, probably the biggest fight in British history, to be honest. I mean, that would sell out Wembley Stadium in a heartbeat. Personally, I've always favoured Anthony Joshua in the matchup. I just think that he has better power. I think he is the better athlete of the two of them. Tyson Fury may have the better natural boxing ability, and he'll have the ability to outbox AJ and win rounds against him. A lot of people, obviously, they have a very common name in Usyk that they both lost to, and a lot of people say that Fury did better than Joshua did. But Usyk is not a knockout artist, quite like Anthony Joshua, and we've seen fighters who don't hit as hard as Anthony Joshua, like Steve Cunningham, Otto Wallin, Francis Ngannou as well, who have given Fury trouble. I mean, two of those three names that I mentioned have even dropped him. So if they can drop him and hurt him, then Anthony Joshua can send the lights out. So I genuinely believe that I would favour AJ in that matchup. Not to mention the fact that I do believe that he's taken better care of himself. The two of them are now getting older. They're both in their late 30s. I think Tyson Fury's body is going to age much worse than Anthony Joshua's will. We've seen Anthony Joshua recently, and he didn't look too bad in regards to his athleticism. He was still in great shape. So, yeah, I back Anthony Joshua to win that, and I think he'll win by finish. So, yeah, that was a great question. Actually, you were bringing up the fact that you want to bring yourself into the sport of wrestling. Really, what is your plan? Like, where do you see yourself going in pro wrestling? Do you find yourself taking a more like professional route in regards to amateur wrestling, or do you see yourself maybe going into the WWE, or what sort of direction do you see yourself going in the sport?
So with professional wrestling, there's many aspects to it. So WWE, people think that's wrestling. WWE is just a company. There's other professional wrestling companies as well, and like they're called major professional wrestling companies. So you have companies like AEW. Obviously, WWE is one of them. TNA. Like with me, because the school that I'm training at is probably the top professional wrestling training school in Birmingham. Like I would like to start off like in the British scene. It's called Independent Circuit, which is basically like you get all these minor companies just hiring out these independent wrestlers, and like with me, I would like to do that because it will allow me to build a network as well before I make it to the big leagues, and like I'm just so excited for the journey ahead of me, and I just can't wait.
Fantastic.
And like since we're talking about like just the future, like who do you think is going to be Box of the Year this year in 2026?
Boxer of the year.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite early to tell, and obviously there's a lot that's going to be happening this year. Naturally, one of the most favoured matchups of the year is the Japanese matchup. We had the Night of the Samurai card just last month, and it set up a huge pound for pound showdown between two of the best boxers, not just in Japan but in the world. One of which his name is Naoya Inoue, and the other one is Junto Nakatani. In my opinion, it's whoever wins that fight will win Fighter of the Year. I think it's a very difficult fight to call, but I think it's going to be Naoya Inoue, and they're both unbeaten, both in the top 10 rankings in the world. Whoever wins that, in my opinion, is the King of Kings, wins the pound for pound spot number one, undoubtedly. So, and since I do think Naoya Inoue is going to win the fight, I think he's going to be Fighter of the Year. Obviously, we both watch a lot of sports. We both consume a lot of sports. I can't tell you how often I watch boxing. How often do you watch wrestling? Is it a weekly thing, a daily thing? How often is it with you?
Every day. I just like love watching professional wrestling. Like, not only is it like a place where I can just sort out my mental health, it's a place where I can get inspired. Like before, I used to watch as a fanatic. Now I watch as a student, and like when I watch these wrestling matches, I'm like, what can make me different as well? Just from executing that, is there anything that I can add that's special as well? And like, it's just like a daily thing. I have to watch it. I'm always up in the night because it's American times. It's like 1 till 4 in the morning. Like I always watch it, and like I try my best to adapt it into my personal life, and it's become so near and dear to my heart that I just watch it like every day, many times. And since we're talking about like just matches, who would be on your dream match in terms of boxing, like fantasy or whatever?
Well, we actually just talked about it, and genuinely, I don't even mean it just because we just started talking about it or it's an easy answer. But genuinely, I think the number one fight I want to see in boxing is Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury. It's just I mean, as a fan of British boxing, it would be amazing to see such a huge event happen. It's been such a highly anticipated fight for so many years. I mean, there's been talks about it happening for over a decade.
Yeah.
They've always been in the same conversation. So we need, and obviously, I've backed Anthony Joshua to win. Many people disagree with me. They'll say Tyson Fury wins. But the only way we'll know a definitive answer is that the two of them fight.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to see the two of them fight, genuinely. But I guess, if we're talking about fantasy matchups, what's your fantasy wrestling matchup?
Of course, I'm gonna put myself in the picture. So if I was to like have a match, it'd be against one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like this couple that I'd like to have dream matches with. He's gonna retire this year, AJ Styles.
Okay.
It's gonna be 10 years since he arrived in WWE. But like, it's gonna be like almost 25 years since he actually wrestled, and like he's such an inspiration for me. Like I looked up to him, but like I would like to verse him in terms of, like just fantasy ones. It's like classic British wrestlers in the 70s who were just way ahead of their times. Like many people may not know them, like Mark Rocco. You got like people like in Japan, like Tiger Mask, Jushin Liger, Dynamite Kid. All these just people who are just so ahead of their time. I would like to verse them because in wrestling there's a 5 match star system, and like it's like Michelin stars but for wrestling. And if
Wow.
you get 5 star, like you like become one of the top wrestlers. And even if you get more than that, like the highest is like 7 stars. So like I would like to get a 5 star match with any wrestler that's capable of being in the ring with me or that can at least handle me as well. And then basically at least we can like execute some great professional wrestling styles.
Well, that's brilliant to
Yeah.
hear. Hopefully, we see you in there with some of those 5 star wrestlers, maybe even get
Hopefully.
to the 7 stars.
Hopefully.
So that's the conclusion of it. We've given 5 questions to each other. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. This has been me and Sullivan. Once again, we want to give a massive shout out to Gen XO for providing the studio, providing the space. We really enjoyed talking and we hope to do it again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.